Hey folks, I'm running not a little bit behind schedule here because it's my schedule, but I thought this would be kind of fun before we settle down and I get into my office, my little room here to do the proper kind of sit down and focus on questions about decluttering and stuff like that. But I thought this would be fun to tune into is that I just took care of some stuff that I have been collecting that I have been avoiding for years. I literally did. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, Penny. So I definitely did a how long does it really take episode in my own house. So I'm going to see if I can show you what's going on here. This is a very unusual glimpse into my own stuff. But as you can see, I own things and I collect things. So I have two of these IKEA bookshelves. And on both of them, I have my collection since the 80s and 90s of my snow domes. Okay, so I had recently, hey there, Laura, I had recently, well, I thought it was recently, but God, there's like dustorama. Dusted and refilled this side, and I hadn't done this side, and it was like so awful. So what I did was this morning, let's see if I can show you. This is so goofy. I took down half of them, okay? And I chunked it down, and I refilled them, and I cleaned them, and now they are just getting ready to put up there. But as you can see, I own stuff. I collect things. But I've curated them, and I don't consider them clutter. There's a home for them. I like them, stuff like that there. Anyhow, since I was just literally finishing up with that project, I thought I would share that with you. Now I actually, I could have done this earlier. Oh, duh. Now I can actually see your comments a lot better. And I got to put on my other things too. So yay. Good morning, y'all. Let me put on these glasses so I can actually read. Alrighty, here we go. People, we got Gen X, we got Penny Lou Magoo. I love that. Gen X with the J, that one persona. Nice to see you. On fire for you. Good morning. Yay. Morning, Kara. Kara, I bet it's freezing up in Massachusetts. I say that because it was frost on the pumpkin this morning here in PA. No fun. Okay, so I love it. Good morning, PM. Love it. So here's a funny thing. On fire for you, you can see that I am a collector, so boy, do I know about collecting. Notice this about your daughter collecting precious moments. Too many is a quantity, and everywhere is a way of displaying them. So getting it down to the just right amount and finding a place to display them makes all the difference. German Maid, it's been a while. Nice to see you. Alrighty. Love it. T-Site is about to move storage, not taking everything. Give away or sell. Yay. Cat Roby, it's been a hot minute. Nice to see you. Hey, yo. Lots of travel in the past month. Love it. More to come. Put away unpacked laundry and process the mail. Yay. Good stuff. Unspeakable Cathman, tuning in and enjoying your decluttering. Awesome. I'm glad. That's why I'm here, is to help you all with in any way that you need the decluttering. Well, I'm not going to come do it for you. That it will not do, because then you don't learn how to do it yourself. Okay? And learning how to do it yourself is a good skill to have. Learning how to do something yourself. There was something I was thinking of. There we go. I have a heating pad on my shoulders. There we go. Oh, I know. I have Palm Springs on the brain like nobody's business. I'm just like, get me to the palm trees. It's cold here in Pennsylvania. Oh, this was it. I was going to reread for those of you. Well, first of all, for the people who don't even know me and are like scrolling by on the YouTubes and stuff, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Now I have, let's see if I can see it here. There we go. I believe you can see that there's a kind of a grade school construction paper version of what a road trip may look like above my head. I can't really see it because of the contrast on my screen right here. But I like to use that metaphor, but I'm here to help you. Now, Penny Blue Magoo, well, here, before we get to that, because I want to get into what you said. So Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, I had done a regal organization of my hall closet, but when it wasn't functioning well, reorganization. So I decluttered extra towels and washcloths, and son took some and donated the rest. Yes, I am all about the notion of, does it look good? Check mark, yes. But does it function well? Does it function well? Is it easy for you to find the thing, easy for you to use the thing, and easy for you to put the thing away? And when those two things work well, it tends to feel good. So how does it make you feel? Now, where was it? Somebody just said something. Okay, Mama D, AC Wild, good to see you. Yeah, it's been a couple of days since I've been on. Mama D says, I'm taking vengeance on my kitchen. The last 2 days, shit is everywhere, but I'm doing it. Okay, I love that initial surge of energy and motivation that you just expressed so eloquently, and I get it. That can help you, but that's going to be like a sugar rush that you may crash from. And here's the thing. Yes, Penny Lou Magoo, this is who I want to get back on, is clutter versus curation. Yes, so I graduated with my degree in art history, and a lot of what I studied, or part of what I studied, was museum studies. So think of a museum. A museum doesn't just get stuff and kind of throw it any old place. It displays its items with intention. Curation means curating, deciding what is going on display when and where. Okay? So I offer to you, not that your house needs to look or feel like a museum, but you can adapt some of those ideas. Being intentional about where you put something, that where you put it brings you joy to look at it, or conversely, put it somewhere where you don't see it if you don't want to look at it all the time. So, hey, there we go. So I love it. On Fire For You has a mantra. Does it still serve me? Are you being served, as they would say? And if the answer yes, is the answer no. I gave away something over the weekend to my sister that I'm no longer using when I was at the wedding. And I was thinking about something else that's on the top of my fridge now that I realized that I don't use, that I can donate as well. Yeah, and Mama D, here's what I want to think I will share with you all. The decluttering and the curation does take time. And so there are different levels of decluttering. And also, decluttering, this is one of my mantras, so write it down, it can be yours. Decluttering is decision making. Decluttering is deciding whether you want it or not. And if you want it, then where does it go? And then where does it go that looks good to me? Now, some people, like myself, have a better artistic eye than other people do. So I spend a lot of time making sure that where the things are displayed looks good to me. But it isn't a one and done, and it does take time. One of the things I did not do today, I did not introduce, unless it was kind of egregious, as we would say back in publishing, when I was cleaning out my Snow Dome collection, I was not deciding, do I need to keep this one or that one? That wasn't it. It was really just cleaning and putting it back where it belongs. It wasn't decision making. Though I did remove 2 of them because one of them I needed the stopper for and the other one I couldn't take the stopper out. Now, Judy. I love this. I love this because Friday was whatever. Friday was Friday. Judy says, Friday, thankful for Friday's declutter party. I worked 3 more hours on the garage and it's looking good. Okay. Yeah, still need to declutter and organize the shelves, but yeah, and look at all the stuff you did do. Yay, sometimes the declutter parties, there will be declutter parties in November, and I'm just going to get my calendar up in front of me right here because I cannot believe that November starts on Saturday. So there will be declutter parties in November. Those of you on the Destination Decluttered email group, you will be notified of those, and you can do them. But yeah, sometimes those are enough to get you started. You know, to get your engine warmed up, and you don't mind it. I got to check on my own calendar for today. I may actually go back and do that other half of my snow domes today. Or maybe I'll do them tomorrow because my hand is getting kind of like you're soaking in it. I'm getting like dishpan hands. But also when I go back to do that other side, I will know that it took me maybe about an hour today to do those. So tomorrow would take me an hour. I spent more time and energy dreading cleaning half of my snow dome collection than it actually took to do the freaking project. It's comical. And that's why Christy Newwertzen, I think is her name, How Long Does It Really Take? That is why she is taking off like a bullet here on TikTok, because what she's saying resonates with all of us. So yay. But yay for the declutter party. Yay, somebody's been using the 20 minutes at a time method, 20-minute surges. Yes, using a timer. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Interesting. AC Wild says, I think of my emotions as in a museum. Interesting. Interesting. Kara gave away 5 plants this morning, editing yesterday. Clothing rack going too. Yes, I gave away clothing racks too. Somewhat recently because I didn't want to have. This is interesting. I'll share this with you. Having too much storage can lead you to have too much clutter. Having the right amount of storage for the right amount of stuff you want makes it easier to keep that level. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, there we go. PM228. Patty, there was something I think I missed here. I'm just scrolling. Yep. Yay. Okay, I'm seeing a few things that I missed. So yay, Laura Gibbon Voorhees. The door closes easily and I can see everything. I love it. Yes, Kat Roby, you've been missed as well. Yay, Unspeakable Cat says my floors sparkle every time I walk in the door now. Yay, mine will too because I'm going to have somebody help me clean it. Yeah. The DD fam, good to see it. There was something I was thinking of. There we go. Going through cleaning, putting stuff where it should go. We'll go back and declutter and organize now that I have designated places for things. Yes. Yes, Judy says, yes, I dreaded the garage too. And look at you. You willingly showed up and did it. Aren't we silly sometimes? Aren't we silly? Yeah, it takes, 5+ hours to think about something and dread it and only about 5 minutes to do it. Yeah, we still do it. Erin, nice to see you. Yeah. Okay, so Katie O'Malley. Sally O'Malley. I have suffered for years now. Don't do that. Looking at a room full of photographs. Every time I go in, I panic. I'm going to help you with this, okay? You guys, I'm going to help Katie O'Malley with this. And you know where I'm going if you know me. And if not, you're going to learn something too. And even the people who know this, we all can be reminded of it. As I said, I'm a decluttering life coach, and I was dreading something that took me an hour to do. But I will write a note to myself, much like when Erin, I was thinking of you when I was unpacking my suitcase from the weekend, putting a little note in your suitcase saying, remember from August 2025, it isn't that big of, it isn't as hard as you think it's going to be. But Katie is saying, I have suffered for years now. Looking at a room full of photographs. Okay, so one thing to notice is looking at an entire room full of photographs can be overwhelming. Every time I go in, I panic. So notice the thought of a large amount of items that you need to deal with is triggering your body into overwhelm. Now, when you feel the feeling of overwhelm and panic, you are not going to be in the best frame of mind or body to do decluttering. So let's change that. Calm down your nervous system. First of all, let's even just back up the car a little bit. Start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. Calming down your nervous system. But before you do that, your nervous system is contained within your skin. And check in with your body in general. How are you feeling physically? Deal with that first. If you need to eat, eat. If you need to poop, poop. If you need to drink something, drink something. Make yourself feel better physically, and that kind of scanning down of your body to calm down your nervous system. Calming down your nervous system, the word I use is down. So Katie O'Malley, I give this to you too. Think of the word down. When you're getting overwhelmed, when you look at the entire room, you're going to shut down, and that isn't a good time. So what we want to do is we want to use the word down in a good way. We want to use the down in calm down, quiet down, breathe down, slow down, turn down the volume. You can pump up the volume in a minute, but let's calm down your nervous system. And one of the ways that you can do this too is to chunk it down. To chunk it down, all right? What do I mean by that? You're in a whole room full of photographs, as am I. Do not go in and get overwhelmed. You put your blinders on and you chunk it down. You focus down on just a little section. And that can help you get started. Okay? Now, Mama D is asking, do we dread because we want it to be perfect? I don't know. Do you? And I don't mean that in a snarky way. That came out possibly snarky, but I'm from New England and I can sometimes sound snarky when I don't mean to be. What I think dread comes from, this is what I think of it, and I was in the car for like 10 or 11 hours alone this weekend, so I had a lot of time to think, and I'm a thinker. We dread something because we're afraid it's going to hurt. That's what I think. That it's going to take forever, that it's going to be a pain, that when we're doing that, we can't do something else. And yeah, we might have an idea of what perfection is, and then we're going to be, telling ourselves we can't meet the perfection, so why even try, why even start? So that could be it. And Lakhdar Ouija, I have a Massachusetts accent by way of New England, Delaware, all that. Okay? Alrighty. Now, I love this. This is so good. PM Patty says, I've done the garage too many times. It's now my husband's problem. He clutters it. Yeah. He clutters it. He can clean it up. I'm all about that. I'm all about that. Hey, Callie Rose. Nice to see you. Kara's Garden. I have nearly 200 items on Facebook Marketplace, almost at $1,000. And the inspiration is this group. Yay! And I love it. She is listing daily and giving away $10 items. Well, you are now going to use the inspiration you get from us, this Destination Declutters fam, and that's going to radiate back. That's an energy that's going to keep on. It's like one of those, what is that? Perpetual. It's going to keep it going. Good. Yeah. Now, interesting. I love this. Laura Gimme Voorhees just took a relaxing breath with you, and I felt my energy bump up. You know why? Because we're humans and we need oxygen to live. So all of your cells are saying thank you. Okay? All your cells are saying thank you. And yes, to get back to Patty, just deal with your own clutter first. You don't have to deal with somebody else's clutter. Okay, Katie O'Malley, this is fun. Katie, if it helps you, for the next 4 weeks or so, I am going to be going through my own photos, and I actually am going to delight in tearing up some bad memories from photos. So join me, won't you, Katie O'Malley? Let's start this week, and before Thanksgiving, we will have far fewer photos together. That's what I'm going to do. I'll probably be talking about it all this month as I go through my own sentimental clutter, because that closet right back here is filled with photos, and I have boxes here that came up from the basement that I want to move. So you're not alone in that. Amber, you live in Newark? Newark, right? Because it's not Newark, Delaware. I lived in Rehoboth. It's where my husband's from. Doodly-doo. What do we got here? Darby Media, does creating capsule wardrobes for each season help with the overwhelming task of clearing closets? Yes, it does for some people. For some people, it does. What I find, honestly, that I don't like the phrase capsule wardrobes. All of my clothes pretty much go together because I just wear black all the time, black and gray, red and gray. Anybody? If you think it's going to help you, Darby Media, experiment. We are experimenters. We play here. We experiment. We kind of fudge around and find out. We try things. We see if they work. And if they work, we decide to use them. And if it doesn't, we let it go. Now, I will say to you from my own personal perspective, is I don't like the word capsule wardrobe. It feels like it's in a capsule. It feels too restrictive. I like to choose what I'm going to wear. Yes, and Laura Gibbon Voorhees, deal with your own clutter first. Reminds me of being on a plane. Put on your own oxygen mask first. Okay? Yes. Janelle is offering, started getting rid of doubles, helped me. I did that just earlier. I had 2 Philadelphia snow domes that both were kind of arch-shaped, and I needed a little plug because one of them fell, and I'm probably going to find it on my kitchen floor somewhere. But they were doubles, so I felt safe in letting go of one and still having one. Yeah. I love this. Kara's Garden. Hey, you know what? Nothing wrong with asking for what you want. Kara's Garden says, ask the kids to tell me if they wanted anything to wrap up Christmas. And the youngest said, I want all the sterling. I love it. Modernist sterling, of course. Oh, that's so cool. My sister has the family sterling because she's the one who does the trees or the holidays. I have the sterling from my great aunt. It's very plain, but it's engraved, and so I like it. Hey, there we go. Marietta! I just did surface clutter in the kitchen and created a completely beautiful new kitchen in 2 hours. Awesome. Very cool. Hope you're feeling good about that. Yeah, I'm feeling good about cleaning off the surfaces of my snow dome collection and feeling really good about that. Though, man, I do wish I had some, what do you call it? Hand cream, because I'm getting dry skin because I was using the Dawn dishwashing liquid. Yes. I mean, all the valuable sterling jewelry. I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm thinking of forks and knives. Okay. So we're kind of rambling here. We're kind of chatting with each other. This is all well and good, and I love it. One of the reasons I show up pretty much every day of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week, and the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and the next week, you guys, you might get sick of me because I do not travel until after Thanksgiving. So boy, are you going to see a lot of me. But I come here to check in. Okay. Judy, okay, everybody here, you're coming along with me, okay? You're coming along with me for the next month or so. Katie O'Malley, I almost said Sally O'Malley, but I would mean it with love. And yes, I love it. Oh, Kat Roby, it's almost like you are handing me the microphone to say what I was going to say, because photographs. I am going to be doing sentimental decluttering firsthand this month for until Thanksgiving. I will be bringing updates on these lives. I do not really post videos anymore to TikTok because I'm kind of mad at TikTok, but I still want to show up to connect with people. So Judy just said, huge tote full of photos. Notice, everybody, huge tote. Huge is a word that describes a large quantity. Start to recognize when you get affected by a large quantity of something. I don't know what to do with them because you're also looking at it as one giant chunk. And the answer isn't the same for every photo. The answer is going to be chunking it down. But the good thing you do know, Judy, and I'm with you on this, huge tote full of photos, don't know what to do with them, but I know I don't want albums sitting around. Kat Roby is saying, I'd love to hear your plan to chunk it down with photos and sentimental, 100%. You know what? Let's do it live, shall we? Okay? All right, so photo album, okay? I have written down on this one. So this one is from Christmas of 94 to May of 1995. I wrote it down there. It's me right there. Now, I'm not going to go through this individually right now, but having this here, I know, where is my microphone? Here's my microphone, Idaho Princess. Nice to see you. Yeah, nice to see you, okay? This is how I am planning on chunking down these things because I, too, may want, notice that this can be overwhelming, this one entire collection. This is a chunk, but it's also got little chunks because it's got photos inside. I don't want to store any of the photos that I have in albums anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chunk it down, and I already kind of started doing that. You'll notice some missing pages here. And I'm going to take a closer look at these photos. It's interesting, when you start to do that, you can decide whether you want it or not. That's me. 95, 94, 95, God. I was wearing contacts then. You're going to find different categories of photos in your albums. Okay. Do you have a plan to chunk it down? I want to make a plan. Maybe it's just a box a day. Yeah, I probably will. I don't like to get too regimented with my plans though, but I will make a plan that will say chunk down something. All right. What I want to offer to you, and Patty, who says, I want to digitize them without taking them out of the album. I think we all do. But what I will offer to this, okay, I have a lot, so do I. I have other generations too, so do I. Okay, so we're all in this together. So this is my approach. These ones that I have right here, I pulled out because a friend of mine was asking me if I had a thing. As I went through, I noticed that I had different categories. Okay, now I was a photographer, okay? Yes, my photos are easier. Old family ones are harder. Notice the story you want to tell with the photos you keep. You know, the story could be, and I'm just going to use 2 photos right here. Oh, there's a picture of me. Yep, that's what I looked like in 95. Okay. This right here, I kind of know what this is. This was when I started taking pictures of old dilapidated buildings back in the 90s. Okay. Yeah, and Maria, it's okay. Reminiscing and derailing yourself is okay because here's the funny thing. We save the photos to give ourselves the opportunity to reminisce. And yet, when we want to go in and declutter it, we do need access to some of those stories. But we need to be mindful of what our goal is, what our destination is for that time. Okay? So this is another way of chunking it down. All right? What I want to help you with is, so for example, these 2 pictures that I just pulled out of my own photo album, one is going to be, because I've looked through and I know there are more that are basically what I would call right now retro roadmap photos. What does this mean? Since the 80s, ever since I got a camera, I loved taking pictures of old buildings and driving in my car and finding old buildings to take pictures of. That's why if you Google retro roadmap on the internet, you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff that I've done. So that is going to be a chunk. It's not going to be personal photos. Okay, it's not going to be personal photos. I will have another chunk that are going to be pictures with people in them. Now I will make those 2 chunks, and then I can then decide there's going to be a different journey for the ones that I decided to keep, the chunks are not. So like the people photos in here, there's going to be pictures that are from different parts of my life. That's from when I was married before. Those are family photos. This is when I worked for Newbury Comics. This is when I worked for this place. This is when I hung around with these people. That you can get different chunks. And what I want you to think of is the quality and the quantity, you know? And yeah, and please, yes, on fire for you. Let's all make a promise. Can we, including our own photos? And I've started to do this myself with mine, but I'm not 100%. Let's be the generation that labels the photos on any photo you want to keep. Please write the info on the back of the photo and make sure you find like a way to write it that it's not going to bleed through to the front. Okay. So I say that to you because I have a bunch of photos in there that pretty much could be given to a antique store or a craft person because they were in an old family album, but they were never written on the back, so nobody knows who they are. I have recognized the ones that I think are family, and I've pulled those out to say I think these are family, and I have put little Post-its temporarily, but this month, is going to be the month of me doing sentimental declutter. There you go, Sharpie in the bottom corners, right? So even if it does bleed through, it doesn't bleed through like through their eyes. Oh, bleeding through their eyes, that's not what I meant. Yeah, label, 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 yes. Like a Libby's on the label. Yes, without the story, the item becomes meaningless. It really does. Without the story, because you know that. With the story, the thing has meaning. Without the story, the thing loses its meaning. It just becomes a picture of somebody from the 1800s. So let's not be the people. Even our pictures from the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. Get in the habit now of doing that. Now, we are not going to, just to be very, very clear, what I'm not going to do is get into my digital photos. That is a completely different animal. And the thought of doing digital and physical photos at the same time triggers overwhelm. So we're going to chunk it down to just physical photos. Okay? So I will be working on this myself. I will be bringing what I've learned to these lives. If you're working through it too, you can join me. You can show up and share your wins. You can also share your questions like, now what do I do with this? That type of thing. I am thinking of really being mindful of the photos that the quantity of photos that are just the right amount to tell the story that we want to tell. How many photos do I need of my great Aunt Aga to remind myself she existed and remind others she existed? Yeah. Yep. Now, depending upon the photo albums you have, it may be easier for you to pull them out of an old album or not. If you have to pull them out of an old album, you can damage them, but there's info on the back so you don't know. It depends on how the person did this. And again, museum studies, think of it, it's archiving, you know? Amber, you're welcome. I'm happy to share my insight. I am. Because I'm going through it and you are too. We're in this together, people. Yeah, I mean, I am ahead of the class. I am like ahead I'm further down the road than you guys are, but I'm still a human. What about wedding photos after divorce? Oh, Maria, I delighted in dismantling my previous marriage wedding album. I resisted it for a while, and my mother wanted to keep it because I spent a lot of money on it. I'm like, Mom, really? So I took it home once, and I did save a few photos from it, and I did because there were some photos of my extended family that were taken at that wedding that I have no other photos of them. So I have kept some photos of my first unhappy marriage. Yet do I have the ones of my ex-husband and me? No. That's when I seriously was like, I feel like I want to borrow. And actually, you know what? I'm going to see if anybody has a shredder, borrow shredder. Because I feel like I want to just go zoop and kind of, do it. Yeah, you could burn it, but then it's going to be all chemicals and melty and stuff. Yeah. Now, Kara's Garden says, my dad, 85, makes family history books using Blurb. He's a writer and photographer, and he includes the stories in it. I'm thinking of doing that, a similar thing. Myself, I've done books on like Shutterfly and things like that. Fire Pit. Yeah, I'm thinking of shredding because photographs do not, and I will say this to you, please Google this, but yeah, photos can release toxic fumes, and they're not really paper. They're more plastic, so they can melt and junk up your stuff, okay? So think about that, though. Think about what's the story. Do I need to keep this photo of me to remind myself that I was alive circa 1995? Now, I know I thought I looked kind of cute in this picture. My haircut looked cute. I was wearing a leather jacket. I can probably safely get rid of this, but I want to see this in context. Because frankly, this is going to sound morbid, but I go there. I'm also going to put together a pile of photos of myself for my funeral. I'm going to help the people. Yeah, see? Okay, Stacy. Okay, it's fine. Gina, all I was saying was that do not burn your photos you don't want. Tear them up into little bits because photos, for the most part, are pretty much plastic, and even the ones that are printed on actual paper have chemicals on them, so it'll be safer for you to just shred them. It can also be very cathartic to tear them up. You're getting your body involved, okay? Now, Stacy Woods, notice people are saying, I'm struggling with getting rid of photos. Well, first of all, you don't have to get rid of all the photos. But notice this, I have a closet full. So you're looking at just the closet full and thinking of the photos that are in there. But when you go to photo and category to category, it will be easier. So this is where I say to chunk it down. Again, notice what causes many of us to get the feeling of overwhelm and struggle and anxiety and panic. All of those feelings you have can be triggered by looking at something with too wide a lens, if we want to talk about photos. You're looking at the entire closet, the entire album, the entire big tote, and going, ugh, that is a lot. And that thought of a lot can trigger the feeling of overwhelm, and then you don't even want to start. But when you start, that's when you realize, oh, wait a minute, this is all just a bunch of photos here. Like, I could go through right now and do this to be like, okay, that's a personal photo. That's a personal photo. Okay, that one page now is empty. That other page is empty. That other page is empty. Chunk it down. Okay, the photos in these 2 pages right here, I'll take it out. I'm doing a photo album as we speak. I wrote the note to myself. Walking the lake in Wakefield, Mass, April 1995, with my disposable camera. Okay, so these are pictures of a place that used to be the Indian Trading Post in Wakefield, Mass. This is going to be a retro road map photo. Now, I'm thinking of, and I may actually keep these in, I started taking them out of the sleeve, but I'm going to put it back in the sleeve because the sleeve is what has the story on it. Somebody might want that story. Somebody who lives in Wakefield, Mass right now might want that story. So I will keep that in a pile, but I have 2 piles. Piles of things that may be interesting to other people. Piles of things that may be interesting to me. Yep. So there's some more pictures from Wakefield. Those go in that. And so on and so on. Notice what I did. I started with chunks. Okay? Yeah. Notice, Patty, I freeze. When you freeze, you cannot think. Okay? When you freeze, you are in a state of mind that is looking for danger, is overwhelmed, it is shutting down. But so if you're freezing, do something about it. Warm yourself up. Get yourself thawing out. Move it around. Okay? Remember, chunking it down. What do you do? What will you do with them once you take them out of the album? Judy, good question. What I will do with them once I take them out of the album. These ones that I decide, I will then, good question. I'm glad you're answering it. And I will, with these sentimental questions, okay, so I've got 3 sentimental photos, okay, that I've taken out. Once I have that pile, I will decide, do I need to keep this or not? Now, I can't say these because each one might be a little bit different. So I'll say, do I want it? What's the story that this tells? This story tells a time of when I was in a parking lot and I can see my blue car and I'm with my ex-sister-in-law and I'm wearing the leather jacket that I didn't want, but my husband wanted me to have. And I'm looking kind of cute. Do I really need to save this photo? And the answer is like, yeah, no, I can probably let go of that one. Here's a picture of me, probably on the same day, in that same photo, and it's in front of the apartment building that I lived in. Somebody, Melrose. I lived in Stoneham for a while, and also Reading, Beth. I am a Beth as well. Do I really need to keep this photo? Do I want to keep this photo? If I shred this photo, or just tear it up, or just throw it away, will I be sad if I can't remember that I lived in Stoneham? Maybe, maybe not. So I say to you, the chunking down will go from photo to photo. You will curate the collection. It's like when you take 5 pictures. We were at a wedding this weekend. Somebody took like 5 or 6 pictures of my mother and our family. And I got to get back to my sister, and I want her to pick out the best one, delete the ones immediately that we don't want, and share the good one. So it gets down to quality and quantity. And again, it goes back to what stories do you want to tell? And if you have a story, get the story as close to that photo as possible. notice that the stories of this was written here. I would, if I wanted to keep these, I might put the photos, I could put these photos in a little envelope and put the story in it and then send them to, like, I don't know, like the Wakefield, see if the people from the Wakefield Historical Society would want them. Okay? So it is about chunking down. It really is about chunking down and deciding, what story do I want to keep? Will I need, and if I want to remember that story, because I'm trying to find, because I know there was a photo. Do I need to keep, how many photos will it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? How many photos will it take for me to remember that I lived, and I swear to God, it was like 220 Central Street, apartment number 6, Stoneham, Mass, fill in the zip code. Like, it's chucked in there somewhere, you know? Yeah. Hey, I love it. Kat Roby hid a disposable camera in a loose top ponytail to get photos from Madonna in the 90s. I love it. That's so great. That's so clever. Yeah. So what I will do with them, but to get back to Judy, what will you do with them once you take them out of the album? So I will take them out of the album and I will make decisions on the quality and the quantity and only pick the best ones. That's curation, is deciding on and then I will, if I decide to keep them, then I will make sure that the story is directly attached to those photos, both for future generations, maybe, but also for me if I lose my memory, to capture that story. And I will write it on the back, and then maybe I will put them in an envelope that says photos from 1995, photos from 1985. I might write, where I lived there. Maybe I'll just keep them. I like them to be, I thought it was important to chunk them all together in an album once, and now I realize the flexibility of letting go of some of these, because some of these I won't even keep. Like, these were stuck in an album right now. Here's a fun thing. May not be fun to you, but like, for example, I just opened up to a random page. I have some pictures that I took of what we would call ghost signs back in the day. Okay? Ghost signs. This was circa 1995. The benefit of the album is it provides context. Where was I? What are some pictures I recognize so I can say where those might be? So there is value sometimes in the previous organization you have done. I know that those photos were right next to a picture of the Owl Diner in Lowell, Massachusetts. So those may have been from Lowell. There's a lot to like about Lowell. But then I remembered thinking it might be fun to like take pictures of slow children signs. And so I have a bunch of those from a bunch of random places. I have no interest in keeping those. I can easily let go of those. And seriously, you guys, curate your own history. If you do not pick the photos for your slideshow at your funeral, somebody else will. And they may pick pictures of yourself that you don't like. We have a famous story. I don't know if it's famous, but in our family, our great Aunt Catherine did not like having her photos taken. She would, and I don't see anything necessarily wrong with this, she would tear up photos of herself that she did not like. But because of that, we have very few photos left from her. And you know what one of the photos we have left of her is? Is like an MBTA senior citizens bus pass discount photo that she looks horrible in. But it's because she didn't leave any so don't judge yourself too harshly, Yeah. Farm Girl says, my mother didn't want any pictures of her at her funeral. That's a decision. Yeah. And Laura Gibbon Voorhees is saying, I'm glad I put notes on pictures from the 90s because I don't recall all the details now. Yeah, I'm at the point now where we've lived where we live for decades now that I'm like, was that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago? They tend to blur. Yes. And letting go is easier with practice and baby steps. And that's what a chunk is. Just one step. One step. My mom hates her photo being taken. Yeah, I don't see a lot of pictures of myself from back in the day because I was always behind the camera and I didn't like my photo taken. Now, I don't love it, but I don't mind it as much as I did. Getting comfortable with how you look is a journey. Getting comfortable with how you look as you age is a journey. So I get it when people don't like their pictures taken. But I'm just saying, if you have pictures of yourself that you don't like, throw them away. If it makes you feel better to not have evidence of when your face went, oh, in a picture because you were blinking randomly or you looked drunk just because the flash hit you the wrong way, you don't need to document all the crappy photos. Yeah, she does better now that she wants photos with her grandchildren. Yeah, she's doing better now. Yes. Now, here's the funny thing, though. You bring up a good point. Maria Vega, I am doing well. I believe everybody here is doing pretty okay. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, Destination Decluttered. And this is going to be the month of sentimental decluttering in my house. So if you want to join along with me, go right ahead. I do TikTok lives, YouTube lives every day. We've got a YouTube live right after this one. I should probably start warming that one up. There'll be some decluttering parties. Maybe we'll do a decluttering photo party one night, something like that. Everybody, the only way you get invited to my parties, though, is you have to be on my list of people to invite. And the people who are the list to invite are part of the email group. And it's free. You just give me your email address via the form on my website, destinationdecluttered.com. Okay? Yeah, microscopic. Yeah, Mama D, I have a bin with my late husband's ex-family. Huh? Yeah, honestly, I used to thrift. And some of the slides I came across when we were doing a slideshow last Christmas for family photos were ones that I didn't recognize anybody. I'm like, oh, you know why? Because I bought these at a thrift store because I thought I was trying to be like Charles Phoenix. Yeah, so Patty brings up the good point. With the iPhone, no paper photos clutter anymore, and yet some of the same principles apply. How do you attach the photo? How do you attach the story to a digital photo? Now there's, all sorts of ways you can do that I don't know about. That's why we're not going to overwhelm ourselves with, oh shit, now what do I do with my digital? Let's get a handle on our paper, and I use that in quotes, paper photos, and practice curating. Quality, quantity, story. Quality, quantity, story. We're going to do it together this month, okay? Yes, and we are going to. Judy, you brought up a good point. One of the things we're doing, there is, and I'm going to send out the email probably after the, just give me a sec right here, because I got to just wrap my head around what's happening today. Okay, there we are. All right. YouTube Live, 11 to 12. Okay, yes. Then I have somebody coming to help me clean the house because I get dreading doing it, and so having somebody help me is going to help. But I will be sending out an email to the Destination Decluttered email group today with all sorts of invites. We have a how to throw a Zoom party that we're going to do. It's just like a half hour on Zoom to walk people through Zoom, to just show people how to create a Zoom event. But people have been saying they don't know how to do it. I know how to do it. I can help you. That will be before the evening TikTok, the YouTube Live on Wednesday. Thursday, right before Halloween, we are going to have a sentimental clothing. We're going to have a sentimental clothing costume party. You will have a Zoom. We're going to bring one piece of sentimental clothing to the party. We're going to just notice the story. We're going to write down the story and decide whether we want to keep it or not. And so, yep, that's totally happening. And then there's going to be declutter parties. Now, those are paid. Those are a ticket price because you show up to do your own decluttering differently when you're paying to do it. Yeah. All righty. Now, PM11208 says, still trying to figure out what to do with my late mother-in-law's leftover jewelry. I have a few ideas that I'll throw at you. See if any of them you want to catch. Or I won't throw them at you. That sounds kind of aggressive. I'll put them on a plate. You can decide. So what I would do is, first of all, Ask your husband if he wants any of it, or anybody from her side of the family. Does anybody want them? That's the thing. Ask anybody from that side of the family if they want it. If nobody else does, ask your daughter if she wants any. If she doesn't want any and it's only up to you, let's pretend everybody says, no, I'm cool. Yep, just him left. Okay. So I would say, Patty, I would go through and see if any of it, yeah, Kara, great minds think alike. Gold is trading very high. I don't know if it is quality or costume jewelry, but I would get it appraised or even looked at by somebody to see if you have any gold or silver. You would be mind boggled at the small amount of gold and the high money you can get for it. I have sold silver all my life because we had a lot more sterling bits and pieces. And when I had a tiny little bit of gold that we sold, it went for hundreds versus tens. So if you don't want it to sell it, don't keep it as a sentimental souvenir unless you really want to do it yourself. Okay, you're not required to. Yeah, you don't know anything about that stuff, Patty. That's why you're hanging around with me. I know about it. Kara knows about it. She knows. $4,000 an ounce for 24 karat gold? Can you imagine? Suddenly, and even the clasps and stuff, looking for the little thing. Anything that is true jewelry, okay? Anything that is true sterling or gold will have a hallmark on it. It'll be imprinted in it to tell you if it is. If there is none, you can be fairly sure, but you also might want to bring it to somebody like a jeweler who can look in their jeweler's loop or do different chemical things to make sure. Yeah. Now, Danielle says, I've been getting flyers in the mail from local jewelry stores wanting to buy that gold. Yeah. Patty is saying, yeah, Patty, damn it, John is saying, asking your local jeweler. Yeah. I made around $300 for a few pieces of gold rings and chains. I sold a necklace my first boyfriend gave me that was gold. I never liked gold. But man, did I make a couple of bucks from that, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Kara says it was $4,300 last week. Of course, it's because our economy is tanking, but sell before all of a sudden gold isn't worth it. Yeah. Yeah. So notice this. Yeah. I'm loving the change of the background. I love it. So this might be the just right time for you to look through that sentimental jewelry and convert it into one of the most flexible things known to humanity, which is money. If you are keeping it just as a sentimental thing, you will still remember your mother-in-law. Do you need a piece of jewelry that could be worth thousands of dollars to you? Wouldn't you rather have the money to do something with? I'm just saying, you will never forget her. She's probably up there going, oh my God, yes, sell the jewelry, go buy something fun. You know, now if it is not, let's go the other route. Let's say there is no valuables, there's no diamonds, there's no jewels, there's no sterling, there's no gold, there's no platinum, and it's just, not just, but it's costume jewelry. There can be people who collect costume jewelry that love it. Yeah, actually, Patty, see, this is when you know people, you can offer better, more specific advice. So Patty, depending upon your jewelry, this is what I would offer. I like to work with people I trust. And I used to sell my stuff to some folks that were in a jewelry, an antique place in Chads Ford. They're not there anymore. But you're close enough to Westchester, PA, relatively speaking, that if you have any really kind of high-end costume jewelry, Melena's Vintage in Westchester, she's really good. I trust her. Okay? So notice that. You can find somebody you trust. And here's a funny thing, and I know because I'm a business, but I really have an adversarial relationship with advertisements. So when somebody sends me a card to tell me to send them some stuff, sell them some stuff, I don't know if I trust that. I would want to find somebody on my own. So this is when you might ask your circle of friends. This is when you may go online and do some research about like the coin and jewelry place. We got a recommendation of where to sell some coins excuse me, and jewelry from the guy who was cutting the trees in our yard. Now, we knew him, and his family, I could just pick up, came from money, as my family likes to say. And he recommended a place down on the main line. So that was good enough for me. I wasn't going for the perfect place. It was good enough. We walked in with a little box of something. We came out with hundreds of dollars. It worked for me. You know? Yeah. And here's a fun thing. Okay. Okay. Dee says, when my kids were little, I sold all of my gold, and now I regret that a little. Well, here's the thing. I love that your regret is little. And you regretting it does not get the gold back. So try to make the regret smaller and just trust that you did the right thing at the right time for yourself. And then maybe you do something different later. Now, here's an interesting thing too. And this happens with our decluttering crew. I will never forget when Carla wanted one of Leslie's mom's hats. What you could do, seriously, is Patty and Kara. You could connect and be friends here on TikTok so you can exchange photos or emails or something. Patty, you could take photos of the jewelry you have, and you could send the photos to Kara, and she could see if it's anything she's interested in. You know? Yeah. Yep. So there's many, many could have overwhelmed. There are a few different things you can do with your stuff. See, and Patty's and notice this awesome connection we have. You know, Kara says, Patty, send me pictures and I can tell you what it's worth. Yes. And yes, oh, Leslie, you're right. And that was so funny. And you said no to Carla, no more clutter, because she's still digging out her mom's stuff. But you know, the fun thing is, Leslie, none of us have that hat right now, and 3 of us have that story. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? You know? So we have the story, even though the hat is long gone. Okay? Yeah, Gina says, my mom would say from heaven, yes, throw it away, donate it, and get rid of things you don't use stat. Now, that one persona is like, you could repurpose it to make ornaments. Unless you are actively an ornament maker now, or you're eagerly looking forward to be a crafty person, I highly recommend don't try to rev yourself up for crafts. If you want something crafted out of something, find somebody who's already crafting and pay them to make it for you. That's what I do, and it works for me. Okay? So we're going to be wrapping up momentarily. We get like 3 minutes. I'm going to take a moment right here to allow you to, if you're interested in, remember that you get invited to all the cool parties by being part of the Destination Decluttered email group. Many of the people who are chatting here are part of the group. Why not join? It's a fun group of people. We have no trolls, okay? That's why we have the group that's behind the scenes. It's an email group. If you want to join, it's free. And all you need to do is share your email address with me to become part of the group. And you do that by going to my website, destinationdecluttered.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage. There's a place for you to kind of put your email address. It's almost like a little slot at the post office. Hit send or join. It gets whisked off to me, and then you'll get the invites to the Zoom parties, to the declutter parties, to all those things. You will also get access to the schedule for knowing when I'm going to show up for these declutter, for the TikTok lives and YouTube lives. The schedule's already there, and I update it, and I will be on a lot for the next 5 weeks or so. 4 weeks, definitely, because then my husband comes home, and then there's Thanksgiving, and then there's all sorts of other things going on. So if you want company, if you want help, if you want knowledge, if you want companionship, if you want problem solving, camaraderie, and fun, while you're going through your sentimental stuff, or maybe you're just trying to get through and make your house ready for the holidays, I'm your man, as George Michael would say. I'm not a man, I'm a lady. And that's what we're doing here, okay? So speaking of that, okay, I am going to be transferring over. Today is the 10/28/2025. I'm going to be doing an 11 a.m. YouTube live as I type the description as we speak, literally in a minute. So if you like what you're hearing, I highly recommend you can continue to listen. You can continue to participate. We're just changing the channel. It is not made for kids. And if you can't do that, which is fine, it has been wonderful to hang out with you, okay? There we go. Marking this one to listen to recording. I love it. Yes, Cat Roby. This will be uploaded to the October YouTube playlist. So don't worry about that. There we go. Alrighty, user 3283, you just caught us. We're changing the channel. Meet us over at Destination Decluttered on YouTube. And I'll see any of you TikTokers and rockers and TikTokers later. There we go. So funny, I was posing for the photo, and all it did was get half of my phone. It's kind of comical because I need to change it over here. All right, you guys rock. I will see you later. Yes, to the YouTube. All right, I'm going to go live right now. Going live on YouTube. Signing off on TikTok. Signing off on TikTok. We're live on YouTube, all right? I'll see you guys later. Bye.